Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba here on Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. 9/11. Well, here's a special commentary. No, I'm not sitting in for Mr. Paul Harvey today because I don't know how he would do this one. So, hopefully, Mr. Paul Harvey Jr., if you ever listen to this, you can tell me on this 9/11 if I did it correctly, okay? Stand by for a commentary. Well, Americans, and especially Terrence, it's 9/11, another day of reflection. I already gave you the cause of 9/11 when I said 9/11 was a victim of the law of unintended consequences. And I had, about 165 people have written me in the last year asking me, I know you're a quack, but just to ask, why? And they laughed and they said, you didn't save us in 2065. Why? Well, I'll give you an honest answer here. And I'll give you three reasons why I didn't, and my race ordered me not to save you. Because you guys are supposed to be, kindred spirits, being humanoids similar to us. We know you're not related to us, but related somehow down the line, way down in the eon somewhere. Uh, but the three reasons why I didn't save you, one of them is 9/11. The way you reacted to 9/11. And it cost you big time. It cost the United States its existence. The other two are the Versailles Treaty of 1919 and Pearl Harbor, which you guys never learned a lesson from. And that's what I was looking for. Learn a lesson from one of these big things. But you guys have never learned a lesson for any of the three. And here's an example of why I didn't save your asses in July 22nd, 2065. Number one, the Versailles Treaty of 1919. It was created, yes, you Republicans. And here, bookworm, here's something for you. Yeah, you got a right to gripe at the Democrats for one of these reasons, okay? World War I and World War II were caused by Democrats, and they were under Democratic administrations. And I'll tell you why. The Versailles Treaty. When Woodrow Wilson entered the United States into World War I on April 17th, 1917, um, everybody says, oh, it's because of the Lusitania. Yeah, really? Well, he had a secret agreement with the Allies, which, if you look at the historians and they come up with it, was like Lend-Lease in World War II. I'll get to that in a second. But the secret agreement was, we'll give you weapons. And what did Lusitania had? And you notice that nobody's gone down to the Lusitania to see if there's weapons in its cargo hold. Because it'll blow up the United States in a hurry. You were responsible when you killed a whole bunch of Americans on that ship. Yes. The Germans shot it because they knew it had weapons. But then he went over there at the end of the war and tried to put his 14 points. Okay. It cost him his life. But Wilson doomed the world with his 14 points. They never were accepted. And the American government didn't like him going over there anyway. So one thing that they adopted was the League of Nations. Oh, how dumb were they? They adopted the League of Nations. And the United States, what did they do? Did they ratify the Versailles Treaty? No. Did they ratify the League of Nations? Hell no, they weren't even a member. Strike one. Okay? I understand what President Wilson was trying to do, but hey, when you're trying to do something like Trump, and he was a Trump guy, except that he didn't have the bully of Trump. But he tried to do the same thing Trump did, bully his way into something. Didn't work, did it? Trump hasn't understood that. Bolton hasn't understood that. But that's a different story. Okay, so that takes care of the Versailles Treaty. What did the Versailles Treaty do? Well, the law of unintended consequences, I told you, it caused the problems in the world because it started giving people mandates. It caused your Middle East problem. It caused your India problem with the British and the French. They got their colonial system really running from 1919 to 39. Like they controlled most of Africa and French Indochina, and all that. Well, that's the Versailles Treaty. Now, Pearl Harbor was caused by the United States acting the way it did towards Japan. It wasn't a member of the League of Nations. And then when President Roosevelt got there, he looked at Japanese who needed raw material, so they invaded Manchuria in 1931 and then invaded the rest of China in 37. They already held Korea, but they were still needed, a breathing room in the Pacific. And the United States had all these, the installations in Midway and the installations in the Philippines, which you owned, and it was fighting a secret war, guerrilla war, that was costing a lot of American lives in the Philippines. Well, they decided, hey, we'll get them. And, there was laws of unintended consequences, which this video is, I don't have time in this one to go through, but anyway, you started to curtail them on everything you could. Even scrap metal, you curtailed them. So the Japanese looked at you. Yamamoto warned them. You attacked them. You better make sure you hit them good, because this is a sleeping giant and they'll wake up. And you did. And the law of unintended consequences, well, you developed a nuclear war, and you used them on Japan, which is a strike against you worldwide, even today. You see what I mean about the law of unintended consequences? So that's Pearl Harbor. 9/11, you know, because I gave you the consequences of 9/11. Have you learned anything from all three of them? Absolutely not. Therefore, on July 22nd, 2065, even though the United States does not exist because you guys are your own worst enemy, I couldn't help this planet because they were the same old messed up self that you and the British and the French have created ever since World War II. So this is your favorite alien here, telling you Americans on the day of reflection, 9/11. But you won't reflect on anything. You'll go up on your home way, and you already forgot about Pearl Harbor. 9/11 is just a news item out there, but it won't be that in 25 years, just like Pearl Harbor wasn't. Remember, it was a news item all the way up to the 1960s. When I was a kid here, Pearl Harbor was still a news item. Today, it's an afterthought. Same as 9/11. But you won't get that long because the Mushka won't let you. This is your favorite alien saying, good day.